We're sending you in deep, so be on your guard. Scanners indicate particularly rich veins of morkite and gold further down. Bring it back, boys.
Heave ho for rock and stone, bend your backs to take your gold. Dark and dirt is what we know, deep in rock is where we go. I tunnel deep, I tunnel long, all the while I'll sing this song. There's dirt to shift and bugs to hit, I wouldn't trade any of it. Heave ho for rock and stone, bend your backs to take your gold. Dark and dirt is what we know, deep in rock is where we go. Bugs that fly and bugs that crawl, in the air and on the wall. Web and acid, shell and bone, watch that bolt at for she blows. Heave ho for rock and stone, bend your backs to take your gold. Dark and dirt is what we know, deep in rock is where we go. Sugar red to take the pain, platform up that nitra vein. Sand and boots and snow and beard, Hoxie's has it all right here. Heave ho for rock and stone, bend your backs to take your gold. Dark and dirt is what we know, deep in rock is where we go. Leave no dwarf behind, call that resupply. You don't rock and stone, you ain't coming home. Leave no dwarf behind, call that resupply. You don't rock and stone, you ain't coming home. Heave ho for rock and stone, bend your backs to take your gold. Dark and dirt is what we know, deep in rock is where we go. Heave ho for rock and stone, bend your backs to take your gold. Dark and dirt is what we know, deep in rock is where we go.
That was pretty cool and flashy, huh? Well, everything you just saw was actual gameplay. Although cherry-picked, we're only from 3 different missions, which only last about 20 minutes. Apart from that song, of course, which was actually made by a fan of the game, but was used in an official trailer of the game when it came out on console, which is pretty neat if you ask me. But that's not the main topic of today, but what you just saw isn't relevant either. Notice how any screenshot of the montage showed people working together as a team. Looked pretty fun, right? A developer's way of showing that you should probably have a few friends before buying it. Team games are a pretty common building block for most multiplayer games. Some genres are completely built around working together and can't function without a team. Others that would appear to be within the same boat, such as survival games, sometimes discourage working together because all it means is more mouths to feed, and it's better to just take what they have than to share. That's not the majority, of course, and even in these games, people still work together, for their mutual benefit, not of resources, but of strength in numbers. Because although you both eat more food and there's only so much to go around, it's more likely for someone to kill you and take all of it anyway when you're just running solo. Developers have a lot of power when it comes to people working together in their games. The best example of this is Left 4 Dead. It's a horde multiplayer team zombie shooter, now that's a mouthful. You may have heard of it. Made by a small indie developer known as Valve. Although there is friendly fire and you can kill your teammates and just steal all the medkits, you don't do that, because for one, there's 4 medkits, but you're only allowed to carry 1 medkit anyway. 4 medkits, 4 teammates. Number 2, using medkits after being above 80 health significantly reduces how much it heals, despite that they heal you back up to specifically 80 if you're below 80 health, even if you're at 1 HP. Number 3, your teammates can use their medkits to heal you anyway. Number 1 encourages everyone to share because they never had the choice not to. Number 2 encourages everyone not to steal medkits from others after using their own because that wouldn't maximize the use of that resource. Number 3, if someone is getting dogged on more than everyone else, and you don't need your medkit, you can heal your teammate. But now I bet you're asking, why would I waste my one and only medkit on some scrub? How would he help me if he's the one that's struggling? Well, viewer, I apologize. I forgot to mention another mechanic. Number 4. There are these guys called Special Infected that grab you. You can't escape this grab no matter what you do, unless a teammate saves you. So using your medkit to keep your teammate alive will save your life in the future, because these guys aren't even rare. It's a goddamn genetic mutation bargain bin. A coincidence is the most bullshit impossible challenge in the game that most have just deemed impossible, is the one where you're alone facing the Special Infected. Even then, the developers had to give you 3 lives to make it not completely impossible. This is a great example of a way to force people into a teamwork mentality, helping each other and never leaving someone behind. Because that someone behind could have saved your goddamn life, despite the contradictory name of the game. Well, to keep some consistency, let's use another zombie game. Call of Duty Zombies, for example, is a team game. Notice the 4 players. But the teamwork aspect ends there. All you need to do in this game is survive as long as you can. The zombies simply chase players around the map, and any unique zombies can be dealt with rather easily. Alone. The point system in the game doesn't complement this either. It's how you get perks and buy weapon upgrades. But the points aren't distributed equally amongst each player. The only player who gets the points are the ones that get the kill, evolving a kill-stealing mentality because you can easily just defend yourself from the mindless horde. Because why bother with these teammates that don't do anything for me anyway, especially with quadruple the points than you would if you were playing solo, because the more players you have, the more zombies there are, which you would think would even out the points gained by each player, but instead makes one player the most wealthy in the lobby, racking up hundreds of thousands of kills, while everyone else has to bite and claw at the zombies' ankles until they give up out of pity for just a fraction of the points that Mr. Moneybags gets in 12 seconds. But why is this all so important? Well, this may seem a bit egotistical, but pragmatism just flew in my window. So I'm going to do something dangerous and give my unfiltered opinion. Working together as a team is way more fun than fucking everyone over. Now don't get me wrong, watching someone get dogged on by their friends in a YouTube video is fun, but from both being on the receiving end and the giving end of this treatment, it's not all that fun. What is fun to me is a mad dash to the exit where everyone is screaming their lungs out in a conjoined panic, but just barely making it out with everyone's lives intact. Or those moments in competitive games where everyone perfectly fulfills their role. And we just barely clutch the game back in a huge firefight where both teams put their skills and teamwork to the test. And then, the quiet. As gunshots fall silent and the objective bar slowly fills, only to hear victory. And everyone on your team freaks out from such a close game. I mean, seriously, you can barely even compare the two. Working together as a team is fundamentally more fun than not. So, next time you feel like faking a guy out when you're gonna revive him, don't. Because teamwork is more fun anyway. Ah, shit, Pragmatism just left. I guess I gotta give my team bonding a rain check and C4 the scout.